Hey, what's going on, guys? So today we're talking about security for your home. This is something that I was exposed to on Instagram from Hill and Lock. This is as straightforward as you assume it to be, right? Like 90% of people watching go, "Oh yeah, I know what that is." So there you go. That's the video. So this is an upgraded door plate and screws hardware for your doors, particularly your front, back door if you have one. So it makes it much harder for someone to enter into your house, right? We've heard this before, at least if you haven't heard it before. Most of the strike plates that are on your doors have a standard little tiny screw, and that's really the failure point. You can kick in a door because of that hardware. You put something like this on a door, depending on the door, of course. When you have a front and back door, they're generally bigger, bulkier. Sometimes they're metal skin doors. Sometimes they're solid wood, like a hardwood or something. Those are incredibly hard to just break into. So actually, since this person knows more about it, I'm going to show you a quick little YouTube video, just a little presentation.
Hi, my name is Jason
explain
from
this a little bit,
and
then we'll talk about it.
Is the failure point during a home invasion and break-ins. A strike plate is something that strengthens a door's deadbolt and makes it stronger and gives it something more to grab onto rather than just a half-inch of wood or so, which is typically only made of softwood like pine. Most strike plates on the market come with 2.5-inch to 3-inch screws that won't travel very far past your door's casing. The plate itself is made of thin metal that can bend or fail when forced open. This is the Night Watch by Hill and Lock. And the difference between this strike plate is that it's made from a 1/4-inch thick steel and is designed to capture the strength of 5.5-inch structural screws used to secure it to your door and will drive in and secure the plate to both of your door studs. Hill and Lock wanted to test their security systems in the most extreme forced entry scenarios, and they did so by testing it with SWAT breaching teams to develop their products. To install this strike plate...
So you can watch this on your own time if you want for installation. I would say actually that's really the only con here is installation, because people kind of want things that drop in. People are lazy. It's just how it is. So the only downside to this really is that you can't just plug and play. You can't swap this. You do have to cut out a larger section, okay, to accommodate this plate. So, I mean, for the carpenters out there, no big deal. The contract workers, no big deal. Someone randomly watching who doesn't have any tools, maybe lives in an apartment somewhere or something, just doesn't have the capability of doing that easily. You could figure it out. You could buy a chisel really cheap and, kind of hammer it in. But that would be a downside, is that you do have to modify that section for this to work. So the big question is, pretty cool, I want one, how much is it? These are $35 for a set. All right, so not a drop in the bucket, but as you can see here, they are made in America, and nothing made in America is super cheap. This is quality. I'll pop these out to show you. It's a very simple concept. For anyone who watches who are like, oh, I love the idea, but I don't want to spend $35 on something like this, or I would love to do something like that, but I just don't have the tools or capability to properly install this. The very least you could do is buy longer screws. You don't have to get 5.5-inch screws like this, but you can get longer, 3 or 4-inch screws, and just literally take out the 2 screws on your strike plate and put the longer screws in so it's grabbing more wood, maybe the frame. That's the very least you could do. That will cost you pennies. You know what I mean? You probably already have the screws somewhere or know someone who has the screws. So if you watch this video and you're like, oh, pretty cool, but not for me, a little expensive, or I just don't have the time or interest really in modifying my doors for security, cool, but I would recommend those screws. That is something that is easily done, super cheap. But for the people who are interested in something like this, that's why I'm showing it. All right, so essentially you do have a thick piece of steel for the plate, so this will absolutely not bend, break easily. The door would break unless you have like a massive, solid oak front door or something. The failure point is probably not going to be this. That's all I'll say. And obviously these will drive not only through the entire plate here, which sits nice and flush because of the cutouts, but they'll, as you saw in the video, it's going to go into the actual framework of the door. So it would make it almost impossible to get in. Now, why would you want something like this, right? Why are you worried about security and safety? Some of you aren't. That's the fact. Some just don't care that much, especially if you're gun owners. You're just like, you know what, I have a gun if I'm home. It is what it is, you know. But it's just another peace of mind. That's all it is. If I had all the money in the world and all the time in the world, I would have a safe room. I would have all kinds of secret hidden stuff because I love all that stuff. I find it super interesting, super fascinating. Even if it's never needed, it's just kind of cool. But it does serve a real purpose. Now, unless you're in some kind of a combat movie or something, you probably, or unless you're just massively rich, you're probably not going to be a target. You probably don't need a safe room. You know what I mean? Most people watching this video will probably never have a breaking and entering. And that's a good thing. That's all good. But just like the reason that some of us do carry a gun, it's that 1 in a million chance, right? It's that super, super, super rare chance that someone is going to break into your home and that person could pose a threat to you. Stuff like this could actually help. If you have a guy, for some reason, who's banging on the door trying to get in, and again, that would be extremely, extremely rare. Any thief or burglar may go through a window or try to go through a sliding door or something or break glass before they would probably just batter ram your front door. But who knows? It's kind of one of those things. So like I said, at the very, very, very least, get some longer screws. But at the most, you might be interested in something like this. And that's why I'm sharing with you, because very few people watching this video are going to be interested in a product like this, but some will. And that's why I'm exposing it, just like I expose anything else. Hey, I didn't know that existed. Hey, never thought of that. You know what I mean? So at the very least, I think this video would be helpful to the people who are going to actually replace their screws with something longer. But like I said, the handful of people who might actually be interested in this, I want to just kind of show it and talk about it a little bit. I think these are fantastic. I think that having upgraded doorknobs are very good as well. This could be a debated issue whether or not like electronic doorknobs are good compared to maybe a regular style key and lock doorknob. Like most people just have, you have a simple key. Now, obviously, if you get into lock picking, you will eventually realize how really easy it is to pick a lock, especially on like a front door. It's not that secure. Now, all these measurements, by the way, are just deterrents. There's absolutely zero way to ensure that no one can get into your home. You know what really shocked me was back when I was watching the cold steel proof videos. They had some kind of a hatchet or axe or something. And because Lynn Thompson is the awesome guy that he is, instead of just showing cutting some tree limbs or something, right, he had to cut a pig in half. And then he set up like a mock house. And next to the door was the wall. Some of you guys probably remember seeing this proof video. This was very old. It might have even been VHS. I don't even know if it was DVD. Maybe it was DVD. But they took this hatchet and they went through the wall of the home. The wall. It doesn't take, I mean, well, I'm not going to say it doesn't take much force. It does. You have to have a very, motivated person. But our house wall, like even the front door, right, you have siding. It's not all that thick. You could rip the siding off. And what else do you have? You have some sheetrock, not terribly hard to get through. Then you have obviously the studs. That's, 2x4s, right? That's probably not easy, but not impossible to get through. In this video, it took like not even a minute for him to take this hatchet and go literally through the wall, broke one stud, and was able to climb into the house. So at that point, it makes literally no difference what you do with your front door if someone's going to come through the wall of your home. That's like kind of extreme. That will probably never happen. And like I said, it'll probably never happen if someone's breaking down your front door. But it's the what if, Carrying a gun is much more, I think, it's very inconvenient. It's way more inconvenient than something like this. But I think that you're more likely probably to have someone with a knife or gun threatening you in your lifetime, maybe once, than someone breaking and entering. And that really depends on where you live. All right, I'm speaking for myself. I happen to live in an area, and always my entire life lived in areas where breaking and entering and crime was very, very, very low, almost non-existent. In the last 20 years living in Pennsylvania, I have not heard of one breaking and entering that wasn't family related. So literally 2 times in my last 20 years in the northeastern Pennsylvania area, I live in like the Pocono area, just have not heard it. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but in the small communities and neighborhoods that I've been in, it just didn't. It just didn't happen. It's not common. The most common, you know, type of crime that we have here are when couples, you know, a husband gets drunk and smacks his wife around. That's really kind of the most of the crime. And then there's some drug crime here and there. But like we don't have car thefts, we don't have, you know, B&Es, all that kind of stuff. So it's being like over prepared, but that's how I've always been my entire life, is going kind of extreme with preparedness. You know, stocking up food for the apocalypse. Is that going to happen? Maybe, maybe not. Do you even want to live through it? Probably not. But I do these things anyway, right? So some people would see this as like extreme or unnecessary, and you are totally common and totally normal. But us abnormal people, at least society would think we're abnormal or paranoid, we get peace of mind from security, right? Like I mentioned before, I lock everything up. There's no reason to. No one's coming in my house trying to go through my stuff. It never happened. Hopefully never will. But even if they did, their mind would be blown at how inaccessible everything is. And then when they do access it, if they have the capability and knowledge, to find pretty much nothing of value in it is even funnier to me. And that's why I do what I do. I have fake safes literally set up so that they could be found and seen, and you know, there's nothing in them. Fake money, fake coins, things like that. A little cute note to the would-be thief. But anyway, I'm kind of babbling on here, but you guys maybe get where I'm coming from. I think things like this are super cool. You don't have to go as extreme, but if you want to, and you're that type of person, yes, these products are available. This is 100% made in America, wonderful quality. For what it is, it does it very, very well. It's not cheap though. And like I said, if you do a couple doors, maybe $100, you know, it depends on your own personal situation. A lot of people would just do a front door, but you know, some people might do every door in their home. You know, I've seen people where they'll beef up not only just the doors, they'll get metal skin doors or they'll get solid wood doors, but they'll, you know, replace it with thicker hinges. I've seen, I had one of my viewers send me a wonderful door lock, like a sliding lock. The thing, I swear to God, it's like, the steel, it probably weighs 2 pounds. The steel is this thick. It's like this long, maybe 4 by 3 or something. And the plate that goes across and, you know, the part that goes, it's just so incredibly overbuilt and crazy. I love it. I absolutely love it. So anyway, just here, this thing exists in case you're interested, type video. So there you go. It's pretty self-explanatory. And that's pretty much it. I want you guys, though, to comment. Let me know. Obviously, if you're interested in something like this, or if you've done these type of upgrades before, you know, what you think of it. It gives you peace of mind. Nothing else, let me know if you're going to replace the screws in your doors. Like I said, pennies on the dollar. You probably already have the screws. Go with like 3.5, 4-inch plus screws, and you're good to go. You just have to make sure the screw heads are going to sit flush so the door still functions fine, but that's pretty easy to do. But what I was going to say before is on electronic doorknobs. Give me your opinions on it. Have you seen or used like biometric doorknobs where you have to use a fingerprint? You know, I really like electric doorknobs. I have 2 of them that I invested in years ago. They were like $110, $120 each, along those lines. It's a keypad type entry. So I actually don't have those on, I'm fine saying this on the internet, because whoever's going to try to break in my house, if that ever does happen, probably doesn't watch my videos, but who knows? Even if you do, that's fine. But I have those on doors that don't even matter. My previous home, I had an electronic doorknob, very expensive one, on a laundry room door. But you wouldn't know that. If you broke in, you're like, oh, wow, this person's trying to protect something of value. No. Unless you want to steal my washing machine, that's not easy. Or my underwear, you know what I mean? Go for it. But nothing of value is in that room at all, right? I've used them on my front doors as well. But, you know, a closet or something that just has linens in it. I love the diversion. I like the idea that if someone is trying to rip me off, that they're going to get frustrated and confused in the process. Now, they may walk away with something of mine that matters to me, but I'm not going to make it easy. I'll say that. So that's the purpose of this, is just making things a little bit harder. But if there's a will, there's a way. But like I said, for the average person, I had a nice conversation the other day about it, specifically with guns, but the average person doesn't have to worry about the stuff we see on TV and movies. You know what I mean? Like I said, having a safe room, like what kind of person are you that you have a team of people armed trying to kill you, that you need to go to a safe room? You know, like we see these on movies and stuff and shows, and like, yeah, I would love to have that. I would love to have a safe room. It's so unnecessary. I'm never going to need a safe room, but I don't know, it just makes me happy to have all these levels of security. So for what? For no reason at all. Just peace of mind, I guess. Maybe I am a little paranoid. Who knows? But that's not a bad thing, is it? You know what I mean? Being prepared, over-prepared. You know, it hasn't negatively affected me thus far, I don't think, except for being inconvenient. But anyway, that's it for now. Let me know what you think about the whole subject there. And that's it. I'll see you guys tomorrow with a brand new video. Take care.